What's up, everybody? It's Pino here from Get Wisdom. What if I told you that one of the main reasons why so many people struggle in their finances is because they don't understand the difference between riches, money, and wealth? See, most people believe that riches, money, and wealth are the same things, but they're not. In fact, I submit to you that if you have the desire to grow in riches, if you have the desire to grow in money, then what you actually need to do is to learn how to grow in wealth creation. And in today's training, guys, I'm going to be sharing with you the 4 stages of wealth creation. Think about it. Why in the world did God create everything in stages? Because when you build in stages, you build something that lasts. We're talking all about it today in the training. Let's do it. I need to submit an idea to you guys and gals today that your financial increase will be in direct proportion to your financial intelligence. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Your financial increase will be in direct proportion to your financial intelligence. Another way to say it is your financial increase will be in direct proportion to your financial literacy, right? And there's a big difference between being literate in a language and becoming fluent in a language. For instance, when I was in high school, I took a Japanese class. I did not learn a lot about Japanese whatsoever. I'm a little bit literate in Japanese. Hai genki desu, doko kara desu ka? I got a little something, you know what I'm saying? But am I fluent? No, of course not. And when you become more and more fluent in a specific language, now your understanding grows and you're able to do more because you can communicate better. The same thing goes for the language of money. The more you learn to speak, not just literacy, right? Not just intelligence only, but you become fluent in the language of money, that's when your financial increase will be released. It's in direct proportion to your financial intelligence and your financial literacy, your financial fluency, okay? Increase your understanding and you will increase your income. I need at least 50 people right now. Write that down. Increase your understanding and you will increase your income. Okay, so we're talking about the 4 stages of wealth today, but before we talk about the 4 stages of wealth, let's look at why wealth is built in stages. Okay, how many of y'all know that everything God does, He does in stages? Interesting, right? Because consider this. Real quick, today's training is brought to you by my upcoming 5-day Create and Sell Digital Products Challenge, where I'm going to show you how to monetize your knowledge so that you can start getting paid for what you know. And maybe you're sitting here going, I don't know what I would say. I don't know what I would sell. I don't even know my niche. That's exactly why you need to consider joining me. Over the course of 5 days, I'm going to show you exactly everything you need to know on how to launch so that you can start building that new stream of income. Click that link down below. Tickets are currently on sale. Don't miss it. Now back to the training. In the book of Genesis, God could have made all of creation in one gigantic poof, bing, and it was exactly how He desired it to be. But He didn't do that, right? No, God created creation in stages. I need at least 50 people in the comments right now. Drop this word, stages, stages, stages. God could have made creation in one moment, but He chose to do it in stages. Why? Because God wanted to show us how to build things that last. Ooh. How many of y'all know if you just build something all at once and it's not built in the correct stages and it doesn't have the right foundations and the right pieces and the right timing, then that thing's not going to last. So why did God do creation the way He did in stages? Because He wanted to teach us how to build things that last, okay? So let's take a brief look at the difference between 3 different parts of wealth, okay? Riches, money, and wealth, okay? Because if you have the desire to grow your wealth, so many people get this so confused, man. So many people think that riches, money, and wealth are all the same thing, and they're not. And if I can help you today, if I can serve you today and add a little bit more literacy and understanding to the language of money in your life, maybe you can become a little bit more fluent, and then maybe you can begin to grow your finances, okay? I need at least 10 people in the comments say, let's get growing, baby, let's get growing, okay? So before we talk about the 4 stages of wealth, let's break down riches, money, and wealth. Okay, so number 1, let's get some understanding on what are riches. Okay, what are riches? The very simple answer to this is riches, that's the stuff, right? Riches are things, they're the stuff. Riches are cars, right? Riches are houses. Riches are jewelry. Riches are clothes, right? This is the stuff. If you have the stuff, if you have a lot of stuff, that is riches, okay? But I have something to submit to you here, and this is where a lot of people get it wrong, okay? Proverbs 11:28. If you're taking notes, write this down. Proverbs 11:28. Proverbs 11:28 says it like this: he who trusts in his riches will fail. He who trusts in his riches will fail. Why? Because if I put my trust, I wear this $20,000 Rolex pretty much every single day, and this thing could just fall off my wrist and crash and break. How stupid would it be if I put my trust in something as dumb as this, right? How unintelligent would it be to put my trust in my house that could burn down tomorrow? I hope it doesn't. I believe it won't. How foolish would it be to put my trust in my vehicle or my jewelry, whatever? It's foolish to put your trust in riches, but it's not wrong to have riches, right? It's not wrong to have the stuff. But how many of y'all know that riches are just a byproduct of growing in true wealth? Okay? And by the way, for those who maybe you haven't got to that place of becoming rich yet, and that's fine, you need to understand this. Riches are fleeting because they aren't a good representation of a person's actual wealth. Like they're not. Like you could rent a Lambo, right? Like you could rent one of these watches probably for, I don't know, maybe a couple $100 a month or so. I don't know how it works if you rented it, but the point is, okay, riches are fleeting and they're not a good sign of a person's actual wealth, because riches themselves are not wealth. Riches are just stuff. Okay, are y'all tracking? If you're tracking, shout it in the comments. Say, I'm tracking. Okay, so the first part of wealth is riches, and that's like a byproduct of true wealth. Okay, let's talk about the second part. The second part of wealth that we need to talk about real quick before we understand the 4 stages of wealth is money. Okay? Riches, money, and wealth are all different things. Okay, so what is money? What is money? I submit to you, money is very simple. Money is simply power and ability that brings options. That's what money is. Because how many of y'all know if we were to rewind a little bit, maybe 1,000 years back in time, right? And we are living on a rural farm somewhere, and maybe we don't have a lot of cash, but we have milk and we have goats and we have cows, right? That gives us a power and ability to be able to trade with people. And that ability and power to trade, that would bring us options. Are y'all tracking? Right? So money is really a currency type of situation that brings power and ability. Okay? If you're taking notes, write it down like this. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24, Matthew 6:24 says it like this: no one can serve 2 masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. And then the next part says, you cannot serve both God and money. Ooh, what does that mean? The punchline is this, guys. The purpose of money is to have the power and ability to purchase options, right? And unfortunately, too many people, especially those who don't understand how riches, money, and wealth works, okay? And people who are maybe coming from not much, or maybe they didn't grow up with a lot, and they start making a little bit of money and they start becoming a little bit rich, a lot of times they will put their trust in the riches, they'll put their trust in the money, And that is just foolish, right? Why? Because all of this is fleeting, right? Riches and money are fleeting. Riches and money come and go, but wealth is a completely different thing. Okay. And again, like I just taught you with riches, it's not wrong to have riches. Like it's not wrong to have stuff. It's wrong to put your trust in the stuff, but it's not wrong to have the stuff, right? I don't mind if my kids, they want a new football, or, my daughter wants a new, whatever, makeup set or whatever. That's fine, right? But if my kids are like, worshiping the makeup set, right? If they're like, oh man, if I don't have my football, my life is destroyed. Like, that's not right. That's exactly how riches are. It's exactly how money is. But the same way it's not wise to put your trust in riches, it's okay to have them, is the same way to not put your trust in money. It's okay to have money. Why? Because money allows us the power and ability to purchase options. What should we be using money for? I'm glad you asked. Money should be used to purchase options like time. You can use money to purchase your needs, right? You can use money to purchase your wants. Nothing wrong with purchasing the things that you want, right? You can use money to invest. You can use money to give, right? And one of the wisest things that you can do with money is use money to buy assets. What good is money? Like, okay, cool, I'm using my money to buy all these riches and buy all this junk that can literally break down and burn, whatever. Smart people, wealthy people, we don't just use our options to buy junk. We actually use money, that power and ability to purchase assets. I don't know if y'all ever heard this before, but if you're taking notes, write it down like this. Assets will feed you, but liabilities will bleed you, right? Like, liabilities are bleed. Like, what is a liability? A liability is something that costs you money over and over and over. An asset is something that makes you money over and over and over. So it's not a trick question. Would you rather have more liabilities or more assets? Which one? Someone in the comments shout assets. Of course, right? Like, I'm telling you guys, so many people don't understand what is riches, what is money, and what is wealth. And they think it's all the same thing. And it's like, oh man, I got rich, I'm gonna go buy a Lambo. Like, serious? You gotta learn the game, man. You gotta learn how to speak this language fluently as possible so that you can begin to become a good steward, right? And now we've talked for a moment about riches. We've talked for a moment about money, and we're discovering what they are. Now let's talk about wealth. So if riches are the stuff, if money is the power and ability to have options, then what is wealth? I'm glad you asked. Wealth is this. Wealth, this is my definition of wealth, okay? Wealth is the ability to provide so much value to others that in return the market supplies you with abundant options. I know that's a little bit of a mouthful, so let me break it down for you, okay? So what is wealth, okay? How do we get money? How do we get riches? You do it by growing your wealth. Wealth is not money or riches. Those are byproducts of wealth. Wealth, guys, is a mindset, okay? Wealth is when you treat yourself like a premium person and you start making new decisions. You start understanding, okay, every single one of us has value, like intrinsic value as a human, but that doesn't mean that you have value to bring to the market. Like the person who works at Starbucks, no shade to someone who works at Starbucks, but that's not nearly as valuable to the market as somebody who performs brain surgery and saves people from their cancerous tumors in the mind or on the brain or whatever, right? Both of those people have equal value in the intrinsic value of a human soul, but those are two very different levels of value to provide to the market. And I'm telling you this, my friend, when you can grow your skills, when you want to talk about investing into assets, guess what the number one best asset to purchase is? Investing into the S&P 500. Nothing wrong with the S&P 500, but S&P 500, man. When you begin to purchase knowledge, purchase understanding, invest into yourself, invest into your education. I get calls every single week from people who've known me from my missionary days, from my worship days, and every single week somebody comes up and asks me, Rick, how the heck did this happen so fast for you guys? Like you literally went from like missionary worship leader dude to like now you're doing all this crazy stuff, made tens of millions of dollars. How the heck did it happen so fast? I'll tell you how. I became wealthy, not with the riches, not with the money. I literally invested into the asset of my knowledge, of my wisdom, of my skills. And the more I invested into myself, the more value I could bring to the market. And guess what? When I got the ability to provide so much value to others that in return, now the market supplies abundant options to me. Are y'all getting this? Are you guys seeing it? If you're getting it, let me know in the comments. Say, I'm getting it, I'm getting it, I'm getting it, right? This is what wealth is. And here in just a minute, I'm going to give you the 4 stages to wealth creation. Because if we really have the desire to become wealthy, okay, then we have to understand wealth happens in stages, okay? It's not just about like, I want to get rich. I'm telling you this right now. If I had a choice to be rich or wealthy or to have money or wealth, I would choose wealth every single day and twice on Sundays. Why? Because wealth is rooted in wisdom, right? And I've taught you guys and gals this before. Wisdom is the root, but wisdom is the root. Money and riches are the fruits, right? Wisdom and wealth are the roots. Money and riches are the fruits. And that's the part like that people are confused about. They see the fruit of, wow, he's rich, she's rich. She's a rich gal, he's a rich guy. Wow, he's got so much money, whoa. But they're only looking at the fruit. They don't understand, where does this fruit come from? It comes from the root of wisdom and wealth. Are y'all getting this? Drop some fire emojis down in the comments if y'all are getting it, okay? So if you have the desire to become wealthy, you need to grow your ability to provide so much value. I'm not just talking about like, oh, it's kind of valuable. Like, think about this. How many of you here have the desire to become a millionaire? Wave at me in a screen like this if that's you. Anyone here? Then all you need to do is to provide at least $1 million worth of value to the market. Ta-da! Are y'all getting it? How many of you here have the desire to create your first or your next $100,000? Wave at me in a screen like this. Anyone here? Then all you need to do is grow in the ability to provide at least $100,000 of value into the market. Guys, is it making sense yet? This is what it means to be wealthy, right? Like, it is so interesting to me that so many people just don't understand this, and rightfully so. Like, hardly anybody teaches about this. That's why your Uncle Ricky P here is trying to put y'all on game, man, because I desire for you to grow in wealth so that you can experience the byproducts of money that brings options and experience the byproduct of riches so your family can have nice things and you can give the way you desire to give and you can live the way that you desire to live. But none of that is possible without wealth. Are y'all getting it? Proverbs 17:16. Write this down and check it out later, guys. Proverbs 17:16 says it like this. Why does a fool have money in his hand with no intention of buying wisdom? Interesting. Why does a fool have money in his hand with no intention of buying wisdom? The Bible literally tells us if you have money and you choose to not use it to purchase wisdom and invest into the asset of yourself, the Bible calls you a fool. That's not me. That's not Pino. That's Bible, right? So like I was saying earlier, yes, money provides a lot of cool options. You can buy a lot of things, you can give, but what should you be using your money for before you purchase all this junk? Invest into the SME 500. Are y'all getting this? Yes? So let me wrap all of these ideas together real quick, and then I'm going to give you the 4 stages of value, okay? But come with me to the board, and let me just break it down to you like this, okay? Riches, oops, that is a weird spelling. Okay, riches and money those are man-made, okay? But wealth, that was created by God. God literally in his genius said, we're going to create this thing in the universe called wealth. And most people understand it as, I'm going to get rich. No, no, no. Wealth is the ability to provide abundant levels of value to others. And I'm telling you this, like, it's so crazy, y'all. My wife and I were just talking about this the past few weeks. Like, no matter what happens, I cannot help but get paid. We cannot help but get paid. Why? Not because we're anything special, not because we have like all this secret sauce. It's because all we're focused on right now is putting value out into our market. Every time you open up your phone, guess who's there? Your boy, Uncle Ricky P, is gonna be there. Like every time you open up Facebook, every time you open up Instagram, every time you open up YouTube, guess who's there? Me. Why? Because I understand that the way God has designed the universe, it's all upon the law of seed, time, and harvest. If you don't sow any seeds of value, you can't reap any fruit of money or riches. But when you begin to grow the mindset of, okay, this isn't about me just trying to get rich, this is about me trying to put value out to the market, now you begin to grow in wealth. I can't help but get paid. Why? Because I'm putting out so many seeds of value every single day. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but somebody is going to pay me, bruh. Why? Because I'm sowing seeds of value. I'm putting out more value into my market than somebody else who's not doing as good as me. That's just it. You have the desire to become a millionaire? Put $1 million of value into your market. You need a quick 100K? Put 100K worth of value out into your market. Are y'all getting it? One more time, shout, I'm getting it down in the comments. Okay, so now that we understand what we're actually talking about, because I desire for you all here to understand, like, when I say the 4 stages of wealth creation, I don't want you to just think like, oh, he's going to teach me how to get rich. No, I'm going to teach you how to grow in wealth, okay? And why is this so important to grow in wealth? I'm glad you asked. Write this down, Proverbs 13, verse 22. Proverbs 13, verse 22 says it like this. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Why must you grow in wealth and not just become literate, but to purpose in your heart to become fluent in the language of money, in the language of riches, in the language of wealth? Why? Because God said we should be focused not just on ourselves. How am I going to pay my bills this month? Oh, Lord, help me. No, you should be focused on how can I bring so much value to the market that so much abundance comes into my life that it's enough for my children and my children's children. Are y'all seeing it? That's what God calls righteous. Now that we understand all this, let's break it down. Somebody in the comments shout, break it down, Uncle Rick. Now that we understand the difference between riches, money, and wealth, okay, we are going to now break down the 4 stages of wealth. Friends, like I just shared with you earlier, why does God build things in stages? Because if you build in stages, it lasts. In fact, the book of Proverbs tells us an inheritance quickly gained will not last long, right? We don't want to just like, I won the lottery. Like, okay, good for you. That's actually super dangerous because you can't even manage $1,000, right? How you going to manage 10 million, right? I won the lottery. Everyone wants to win the lottery. I just want God to poof down. I hope God sends me a rich person to just give me financial breakthrough and write a check. Okay, cool. You don't even know how to manage the thousands. How are you going to manage the hundreds of thousands, the tens of thousands, the millions? Stages. Somebody in the comments shout, stages, 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 stages. You have to start thinking in the stages of wealth creation, okay? So now that we understand this, guys, let's talk about it. The 4 stages. Of wealth creation. What are they, okay? If you're ready for number 1, drop a 1 in the chat. Level 1 in the stages of wealth creation is very simple. The first stage in wealth creation is simply, it's stability. What is stability? Stability is the ability to become financially stable, right? What is stability? Stability is getting your bad debts under control, right? Like it's going to be super hard for you to build wealth if you have all of this consumer debt that is piling up and piling up and piling up on you, right? There's a big difference between good debt and bad debt. Not all debt is created equal. I love debt. When it's used correctly, I love debt. Whenever you can leverage it to grow your business, I love debt. I carry debt proudly. It's awesome. It's a wonderful tool that I use. Bad debt, consumer debt, that's where people get in trouble, okay? For instance, there is a reason why a couple of years ago, Elon Musk, okay? Elon, a few years back, he purchases Twitter, okay? I don't know if y'all know this or not, but he purchased Twitter for something like $40 billion. He could have easily done it in cash. Like Elon could have literally liquidated some assets and like throw $40 billion of cash on the table at the cap table and be like, yo, let's do it. But he didn't. What did he choose to do? He chose to purchase it with debt. Huh? What? Yeah. And the same thing goes for Bezos. Bezos purchases assets and he purchases investments. He purchases businesses with what? With debt. Zuckerberg. Right? Zuckerberg purchased the Meta glasses, what's it called? The patent, right? The patent for the glasses and the company that did it. He's purchasing all these companies, not with cash, with debt. Why? Because there's a big difference between good debt and bad debt. You're never going to be able to get there if you can't even become financially stable. Level 1 in the 4 stages of wealth creation, you have to get stable first. If you're unstable, forget about trying to become wealthy, because when you're unstable, you're only focused on yourself. How am I going to pay my bills? Oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to make it. This is like, you got to get stable, man, right? So that's the first level of wealth creation. If you're ready for level 2, drop a 2 in the chat. Let's go. So now that you have achieved financial stability, you're well on your way to growing in wealth. The second stage of wealth creation is security. Now that you've become stable, now that you are financially stable, you got some bad debts under control, things are stable, you're not bleeding out like, how are we gonna pay our bills? Oh my God, you're stable, okay? That's the first level. Then the second level on top of that is security. What is security? Security is the ability to live off less than you make. What? Like this is a crazy testimony. I just got to testify and just give glory to God for it. This is insane. Okay, so I have a mortgage broker friend, and my wife and I were purchasing some real estate last year, and my mortgage broker friend's running all our numbers and everything, and calls me up and he's like, hey, something's really wrong here. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I've never seen anything like this before. That, like, I deal with people's financials all day, every day. I've never seen this before. it says you're only living off of 1% of your income. That can't be right. And I was like, no, I mean, I sent you guys everything I got. And, you know, my wife and I, we choose to live well below our means. And he's like, what? This is like guys, if you have the desire to become secure, you can't just be stable. Like if you have the desire to grow in wealth, you've got to learn how to live off of less than you make. Now, the dangerous part of actually beginning, like the beginnings of growing in wealth, like when you start getting a little bit of wisdom and you start growing in a little bit of wealth and you start putting a little bit of value out into the market, the dangerous part about this is that you put some value out there and you start getting some options back, right? The market starts rewarding you with options and money and riches. It's so crazy to me, but when this begins to happen in the early stages, especially if you come from nothing, the danger here is that you start feeling more rich than you actually are. I have a mentor. This is great. Can I tell y'all a story? Someone in the comments shout story time with Uncle Ricky P. Check this out, okay? I've got a mentor who, this is jaw drop, like my jaw was on the floor when I heard him say this. I have a mentor who became a millionaire, then lost it all, then became a millionaire and lost it all, became a millionaire again, lost it all, became a millionaire again, lost it all, and then on the 5th time became a millionaire and lost it all again. 5 times. Millionaire, lost it. Millionaire, lost it. Millionaire, lost it. Millionaire. Like finally on the 6th time, he became a millionaire and stayed a millionaire. And I remember being on a coaching call with him and I said, hey, how in the world do I not do that? I want to stay a millionaire. I don't want to like millionaire, lose everything, millionaire, lose it. How do I do this? And his answer was so spot on. He said, well, when you come from nothing and you start becoming wealthy, and you start learning how to put value into the market and you start getting rewarded with money and riches, you start feeling a lot richer than you actually are. So my counsel to you is learn to live off of less than you make. If your financial ability on your full income is right here on this edge, you don't want to put your lifestyle right up against the edge, because guess what, y'all? I don't know if this is the same for y'all or not, but money ebbs and flows. Business ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it dips a little. That's just life, right? Because it's not always summer all the time. Sometimes you go into a winter, right? It's never summer and winter at the same time. We go through seasons, we go through ebbs and flows, we go through cycles. And if you push your living expenses and your lifestyle right up against the edge, the second it starts transitioning to a winter season, oh my gosh, it's all falling apart. What are we gonna do? Help me, God. Instead, what you should do, and thank God our mentor helped us with this a number of years ago, you should, if your income level is here and this is your ledge, you should live so far away from the edge that you would never, ever, ever be able to go off the edge. Now, I'll tell you this, I haven't always been here, but the past few years, my wife and I have worked hard on this. And thank God our income level is here and we're able to live so far away from the edge. And we have a wonderful lifestyle. And if we ever desire to like pick up our lifestyle, all we have to do is move the edge forward. Like let's make more money so that we can get a little bit closer to where we desire to be, right? But you never want to just push it right up against the edge. This is one of the primary ways that you can stay secure in your wealth creation journey. So what else constitutes for security? Number 1, live off of less than you make. Number 2, have at least 6 months of savings. This is so interesting because the Bible says, consider the ant, right? And one amazing thing about the ant is the ant always thinks winter, even in the summer. Like when things are good and like, woo, most people are like, oh yeah, man, well, I'm just chilling, right? Everything just flowing perfectly. Guess what? Winter's coming. Winter is coming. I'm not trying to tell you doom and gloom, but bruh, I've gone around the sun 40 times and I'm here to let you know that winter is, what is it? 41. Oh, my wife is correcting me. Thank you, babe. 41 times around the sun. But yes, we've gone around the sun a few times, right, babe? And summer is always here, and then winter comes. And then guess what? Spring happens, and then fall happens, and then summer comes again, and winter comes again. This is life, right? And if you are always living right up against the edge, when winter hits, it's not going to be good. So guess what you got to do? If you're taking notes, write it down like this. You've got to think winter even in the summer. You want to become wealthy? Number one, get stable. Number two, you've got to get some security. Learn to live off less than you make, and then get some savings, man. Consider the ant. Think winter even in the summer. This has saved our rears many, many, many times. Thank you, God. Another way to get security, okay, is have proper insurances. Have some insurances, man, to cover any major expenses or any major crazy thing that goes astray, right? Like, God forbid my life ends anytime soon. My family's good. I've got some great insurance on top of all my assets that I've built, et cetera, right? If my car gets into a wreck, thank God I've got insurance on it. If some of my assets go under, I've got insurance on them, right? My investments, I've made some amazing investments. My wife and I made some great investments. And if something crashes and burns on the investments, I have insurance on my investments. Guys, you need security. You can't try to I just want to get rich. You don't understand the game, bruh. It's not about getting rich. It's about becoming wealthy. Number one, you got to get stable. Number two, you've got to get secure. If you're ready for number three, drop a 3 in the chat. I'm trying to hook y'all up with some game, man. I'm trying to teach y'all how to get wealthy. Number 3, now that you have stability, now that you have security. Number 3, success. What does it mean to have success on the 3rd stage of wealth creation? I'm glad you asked. When you actually start achieving some success, you can live off of passive or investment income. Okay? You can live off of passive or investment income. You have good debts, right? And at this level of the wealth creation journey, you probably have multiple streams of income, okay? This is level 3 of growing in wealth creation, okay? God's been so sweet to us. It didn't happen overnight, but my wife and I, we have a really strong passive income / investment income. In fact, this is so cool, and you guys can get here too. Didn't happen overnight for us, but we've got to the place now where one of our investments, just one of our investments, covers our living expenses for the month at our home. Pretty chill, pretty awesome. Like, I don't have to get out of bed if I don't want to because my investments are just paying my stuff, right? I have other assets that I've built over the years that make me multiple 6 figures a year, whether I get out of bed or not, right? We have investments, we have different things going on. Again, it didn't happen overnight. You can get there as well, right? It's really awesome to be there. At the point of success in your wealth creation journey, you start learning how to leverage good debts, right? You start learning the game of, man, I'm going to utilize this debt and leverage this debt. And if they charge 5% interest, how can I leverage this to make 10% profit on top? So that way I'm basically using free money to get a 5% spread on top just by using OPM or other people's money. There's levels to the game, man. Somebody in the comments shout, there's levels to the game. There's levels to the game, right? So number 3, if you have the desire to grow in your wealth creation journey, number 1, stability. Number 2, security. Number 3, this is the level called success. And unfortunately, my friends, this is where most people end their wealth creation journey. And unfortunately, this is not God's way. God's way is not to grow into wealth to where all you do is park at being successful. Can I give y'all God's way to growing in wealth creation? If I can, drop a 4 in the chat if you're ready for level 4 of growing in the stages of wealth creation. Level 4 is this, guys. Significance. Significance. What is significance? Significance is you have a financial plan for succession. This is where you are creating assets and you have the ability to empower your bloodline to 3 and 4 generations. What good is success if we just waste it all on ourselves? That's not God's way. God's way said that righteous men, righteous women, we leave an inheritance for our children's children. You got to get a bigger vision, man, because right now, if you're struggling, it's because you're probably just trying to get stable, right? I wish I was rich. No, you don't. You should absolutely desire wealth before riches, wealth before money, because if you get the wisdom that wealth brings, you get everything else. I wish I was rich. No, desire wealth, desire wisdom, because if you can do that, you'll be able to get stability. You'll be able to build security. You'll be able to finally achieve success. But guys, the ultimate wealth creation hack is to be able to get to the place of significance. This is where my wife and I are working on right now. We are working on setting up stuff that hopefully my children's children, they're going to be good forever. I mean, we're working right now. We got a couple of plans in place. I think it's going to be a lot of generations if Jesus didn't return anytime soon. It's going to be a number of generations that they're going to be able to live off the wake of the decisions that my wife and I made. Why? Is it because we're rich? Not inherently because we're rich. Is it because we have money? Not inherently because we have money. It's because we have desired to grow our wealth God's way.